This is We're back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. Again, I'm your host, Edward Anderson. So I got a guy that I came across on TikTok that I'm probably gonna reach out to him because even though I vehemently disagree with a lot of stuff he's saying, he seems like a nice enough dude. And honestly, there's some stuff that he thinks he's gonna serve as a good test case on a lot of stuff that we talk about. I actually think he'd be very valuable with that. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that indeed. Give y'all some time for getting in here a little bit. But he said something casually that, we had a back and forth on. But for the most part, he's a nice enough guy. But whatever. But yeah, this is crazy, and this is not Great Dana. I'm not talking about him. Just to be clear. Yeah, shout out to y'all in the Discord. But he's somebody I recently came across on TikTok. Oh crap! Give me a second. I'm actually doing a couple of things. But he said something that, a lot of people say with this, and shout out to Compassionate Callous with the, false premise. And this is like one of the biggest false premises. This idea of black women are the most educated. And he actually answered the question, He was talking about, okay, great. He was talking about, I'm looking at the data, like differently, talking about press one if y'all can hear me. Talk about black. I'm looking at the data differently, which is crazy. I mean, the data is either right or either wrong, right? But don't get me started on that. We was talking about. I'm looking at attainment versus enrollment. And so he gave me this diatribe about, the differences between attainment versus enrollment. And so he's more on the enrollment side versus the attainment side, which is crazy. First things first. All right. First things first. Enrollment is irrelevant to attainment. Like, it's crazy. When you hear people say black women are the most educated, and he wasn't simping for women. This was actually a casual off comment he made on something else that was more important, because this dude was out here talking about the only matriarchy is white people, and the title of the video was "The Black Community is a Patriarchy with Men Forcing Women to Do Patriarchal Stuff." And the only matriarchy is the white community. This is a black dude now. This is what the video was titled. And he basically, I'm going to get into that in a second. But as far as the commentary on talking about, black women being the most educated, here's the reality. Black women, I don't even like that stat that says black women are in school more than anybody else by percentage. But most people, if you were to ask 10 people, regardless of race, when you say somebody is educated, when you say a group of people are educated, what does that mean? What would you assume any individual that counts in that group in the positive meaning that they are educated? What would you assume they did? And don't give them an answer, just let them talk. And most of those people, I would argue 9 out of 10 would say that this assumes they completed school. This is assuming they completed school. That is what that means. That does not mean, it doesn't mean that they went to school. It means they completed school. Because here's the thing. If you did not complete school, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter If you didn't complete the school, for the most part, it doesn't matter that you went to school. If you never finished, that's retarded. And when I say finish, meaning if you didn't get an associate's degree or you didn't get the bachelor's degree, it doesn't matter. And for some reason, I don't know where this comes from, but so when people say black women are the most educated, what they're talking about is and this dude said it, that they're in school more than any other demographic by percentage. Here's why that is complete and utter bullshit. Number one, black women are in school to the extent that they're in school only because mainly. Now keep in mind, this is where we're taking it out of black men now. We're just talking about black women in a national basis. Only because they wanted to get them off of welfare. Black women are not in school to the extent that they are because of some mega fucking need that they have for education. It is purely because that they were encouraged to go to school to give them motherfuckers something to do. That's what it is. And keep in mind, with all that said, 10%, 9, meaning only 1 in 10 black women are in school in the groups that they are in school. So people have this thing like all these black women are educated. No, we're just talking about 1 in 10 are actively in school. We're not even talking about who actually gets the degrees, and that's per what he said, right? So now, when and they leave this out when they say that, these women they needed to take them off the welfare rolls, because in the 90s, that's where the welfare queen and all that bullshit was coming through. Yes, black women have had more degrees in education than black men. That, I'm going to get to that in a second. Because there's an obvious reason why that's the case. All women have more degrees than their men for the most part. And there's a reason for that. Because, but the reality is Bill Clinton and them need to get them off the rolls in the 90s. And what it was decided to sell it was to get them into school. Because this sells it as, in the 90s and later, and some of this stuff is getting them into professional degrees and stuff like that, so they can be contributors to society versus just being on welfare. Because keep in mind, in the grand scheme of things, the reason why black women were offered welfare like that was to bust up the black family. White people kind of fell into how effective that was, and what we deal with right now with current black culture, current black female culture, is really them being disconnected from the black family, and now they don't see the value of it because they don't see how it messes up their quality of life to the point where they just can't deal with it anymore. But my point is, and everything's defined by them being independent. They're independent, but they keep asking niggas for shit. So they want their independence to be subsidized. And that's really where black culture starts to diverge from other cultures, because we're a lot further along with that. And black men are sitting here trying to appease these motherfuckers while they say, no, you're going to pay the full cost for your independence. Your independence is not going to be subsidized, especially now that the government's doing it. It is not our job to step in and subsidize single bitches wanting to be wild and free. You want to be an alley cat? You're going to take what all comes with that. The good, the bad, and whatever. We're not even responsible for the bad shit as far as the trauma and stuff you deal with. Because being an alley cat is its own form of risk. And if you don't want to be up under a dude, then that's on you. You're going to be just out here. And y'all talk about, I want to be outside, but when y'all deal with what y'all want to be outside, again, now we come back to, I was groomed, I was lied to, and it's always men that lied to them. It's never feminism, never music, never women that groom them. It's always the men that groom them. Never them women that didn't teach them how to really deal with men in a way to get it. It's never that. It's always men just groom them as children, which we know that's bullshit to the level that they're trying to say this. But anyway, my point is, they went into school, and They went into school because really it was an extension of high school for them to have something to do. This is why a lot of these chicks are having these bullshit ass degrees. These degrees where they were fucking around for 2 years, 3 years, and now they're like, oh shit, I need to do something to show, because I can't show up with student loan debt and I ain't got no fucking degree. That's really what that is. This is whether people put money, help them go to school or whatever, or with an education. Because now you really out here looking stupid. Because you damn sure not about to get that shit removed if you ain't even got no degree. Because then you can't get no job, do nothing. This is why a lot of these chicks be having these liberal arts degrees, these bullshit ass degrees that don't really mean nothing. Let's just keep it all the way real. Can I be honest, yo? Most of y'all degrees ain't a female doing hair, a bitch doing hair, a bitch that has an ability to do hair, do nails, and microbraid and do that is probably more valuable in this marketplace than a lot of the degrees you chicks got. Like straight up, if it ain't STEM, if it ain't law, if it ain't STEM, if it ain't law, if it ain't business, or if it ain't anything in the medical, and that's really STEM, then really you waste your fucking time in school. Like just all the way real. You look at the degrees these chicks be having when it comes to money, social work, all this stuff. Come on now. But my point is, we're going to be all the way real. So a lot of it is just you all think y'all are better because you're educated. And then when we look at education, you went to understand that the outside of the Ivy League, I'm not going to speak for the Ivy League, but the universities today are much less more rigorous than what the universities were in yesteryear. And like in the 80s, in the 80s and the 70s, the schooling is not as good, it's not as rigorous, so it can make it easier for more people to go in order to get more money. A lot of these schools are scams, and I'm not talking about DeVry or something like that. I'm talking about the universities. Really, the Ivy League is the only thing that's really similar to what universities used to be like. And so at the end of the day, what you essentially have is all these people that think they're educated when y'all are really not educated. A lot of y'all are miseducated. And it shows up in just the practical, economical things of the world, how politics work, all the stuff that y'all don't know. You all are miseducated. It's like these chicks can tell you about gender fluidity and a whole bunch of bullshit that has nothing to fucking do with their quality of life. I'm talking about how the fucking education helps your quality of life. Like dead ass serious. And you see it. And y'all are in debt. Y'all ability to deal with other people is really, it's really more indoctrination. And now y'all paid to be indoctrinated. That's why y'all can't get rid of this student loan debt. You know, this is not something you can bankrupt. Where, okay, at least you bankrupted, you going through 7 years and your credit to get renewed. You can't even bankrupt this debt. They got to let it go. And truth be told, a lot of men are not going to let y'all out of that debt. They're not going to let you out of this debt. Because number one, I'm not paying for y'all to be educated, and y'all ain't really got no value to society. Truth be told, a lot of y'all would have did better just taking your ass into the military. But anyway, my point is, that's why they're in school to the degree that they are. They're not in school because they just have this voracious appetite for education and to be smart. They're in school because for them to say educated, as far as they're concerned, for them to say that they're educated in their firm brings them closer to whiteness. Which ironically, while they are promoting the worst parts, in a lot of ways, the worst parts of black behavior. You got women that want to be hoes talking about they want to promote hoe culture, but think they got a degree, but say they got a degree, and you see that permeating society straight up, and everybody's going along with it because for the most part, a lot of people are using race warfare and class warfare, and this is a whole big psyop. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know how to work with your men, your quality of life will be significantly less than if you do. This is why women like Hispanics who don't have the same degree level can get more out of their situation. If you do not have an ability to work your family unit to your benefit in the long run, the medium run and the long run, then bitch, you ain't worthless. That degree don't mean shit, because that degree ain't bringing you closer to no white man. That degree ain't taking the nigga off. But anyway, the point is, and this is the dude, oh yeah, black women are the most educated. Like when we say that, We don't want, like, if you take most educated, think of how, if you say black women are in school the most. See, that don't sound right. Because being in school the most don't mean shit. That don't mean shit. And he even said it. He said, I'm looking at the information differently. And yes, you're right. Black women, 25 and older, black women are not in the most degrees by percentage overall. No fucking shit, Sherlock. And then he said, well, the problem is integrationists look at degree attainment. I'm a separatist, so I look at enrollment. I'm like, okay, you can be a separatist. That's cool. What the fuck does that change the calculation on? So let's say you're like, black people should have their own country. Let's say that. Let's say black people should have their own country. Okay, how does that make enrollment any better than attainment? See, if we were to say black women are the most enrolled, see, that don't sound the same. That doesn't sound the same because that implies something very differently than black women are the most educated. When you say black women are most educated, essentially what you're implying is you're saying black women are the smartest in any room they go into. You're saying that black women know more. You're saying that black women are the most competent if they were given the opportunity, and the only reason they're not given the opportunity is because they are black and they are women. That intersection is bullshit. That is what that implies when you say you're the most educated. Because if somebody's the most educated, unless they're dealing with somebody that has more money than them in a situation, then they definitely should have a big seat at the table. They should have a big seat at the table because this implies that they have the biggest understanding of how to bring an outcome to fruition. That's saying they're the biggest experts. If you're going to say that, that's what that implies. And if anybody that says, well, that's not what I'm, well, motherfucker, don't say they're the most educated then. Because you're not fucking stupid. If somebody were to say that any group is the most educated group, that implies that they're the most capable. When you say Asians do what they do in school, you see that in the outcomes of what they get out of it. This is what I'm talking about. And then people will sit here and talk this language and they'll just casually say it. Black women's outcomes are not that of somebody that would be considered the most educated in anything. You can't name me one fucking thing that has anything to do with the quality of fucking life that black women deal with. You can just look at what they bitch about, what they complain about. Their own complaints tells the story. Fuck what black men are saying. Black women don't even like compare themselves to any other group other than black men. Because the truth is, black women are not confident in doing so. You will never hear a black bitch say, I'm more educated than Latinas, I'm more educated than this and that. Because they have no answer for any counter. Because even Latinas can say, well, they can counter with what really counts, which is wealth creation, money creation. And they can say, look, our ability to work with our men is the real education that counts. Not you being, and then us being helpmates. And we doing same thing with Arabs, black, like what are we talking about? And so, as far as I'm concerned, anybody that says black women are most educated, that's some anti-black shit. Because that's misdirection and subterfuge of your own people. We're not even talking about the fucking debt they're incurring, which makes them less assets when it comes to wives, mothers, because everybody has to feed into that. A lot of their consumer habits is spending it because I got it, because they know that student loan debt is right around the corner. And eventually, like right now, student loans, that's one thing black women ain't talking about. Student loans is beating their ass. Student loans are beating their ass. Do not allow these women to act like they doing all of this shit. These women are getting their ass whooped. And contrary to popular belief, we know ain't no other race of men financing black women like that. We know this. So all this gimme bullshit, talking about, only black men complain. Well, bitch, date outside your race then. If only black men complain, I mean, if Serena and Venus can do it, your ass can do it. If black men are the only ones that complain about it, then bitch, stay outside your race and go test that shit out. Test that shit out with Africans. Go test that shit out. if what we saying is not founded. But anyway, what I was gonna say, I said I was gonna, oh yeah, the thing is, the reason why most women are quote unquote, like people be like, well, why women more educated, why they don't make more money? Oh, because patriarchy. No, bitch, because we work harder than you. That's number one. Number two is because what we go and get quote unquote educated in is more valuable. The reality is that, like, if you go to school for HVAC work or construction work, certifications don't count as education. That's a fucking problem. Certificate, like, tech companies, you don't have to have a computer science degree anymore if you have the right certifications, because a computer science degree doesn't always keep you updated on everything you need. Yes, it's a better degree because it gives you a more fundamental foundation. But it's the same thing. If you're somebody that you can work a whole bunch of construction equipment, you're going to be more valuable than somebody's a fucking social worker. Are we fucking serious? If you're somebody, you know how to work an HVAC or you know how to work these systems, you're going to be more fucking valuable. But see, that doesn't count as education because that's certifications. Hell, even people that can drive 18-wheeler. Everybody can't drive an 18-wheeler. They're considered more valuable because you're in the supply chain. But these things don't count as degrees. These things don't. Let's keep it real. Bitch that can do hair good is more is generally gonna be more valuable than a fucking sociologist or social worker. We don't need that many. Seriously. So the thing is, none of these things count as medical as really degrees. This is why these women were so mad when like professional degrees was getting redone. Shout out to Eric Bird for the $1. Make sure y'all support the Cash App if you picking up what I'm putting down. What's up, K. Smith out of Darlington, South Carolina? Like, yeah, paying to be fucking indoctrinated, man. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? And it's like, y'all, like one of the few pro-black books my mom bought. She bought a couple books, Miseducation and the Negro. And you paying for your own miseducation. It's like y'all really don't. And I'm not even talking about what I agree with. I'm talking about your ability to affect outcomes that you want to affect. That degree ain't. Are you serious? I can look at things that I was taught in high school and go back and say, this is how this actually helped me in life. Even if some of that stuff was designed to increase your cognitive function. Even something that didn't look like it was valuable at that time, I can go back, and I often do, of different stuff and be like, yeah, this does help me in this and this and this endeavor. That baseline information. You got motherfuckers that I mean, seriously. But anyway, my point is, degree, like these things are not considered education, and I swear a big reason for that is because it justifies, because if you actually could look at all these professions and what they pay, it would make no sense to go to fucking college and pay all that money for school. And a lot of schools would lose money, and the government would have to pay more into it, so they purposely keep that like, this is why, if you think about it, all these high schools are always pushing motherfuckers into school. It's like seen as you're being lazy if you want to go into a professional trade. That is seen as problematic. Oh, that's what you want to do? For real? When certain things pay more money. Because because first of all, education is not really something you just stop getting for the most part. Even if you're not getting like regular, like degreed, upgraded education. Hell, even doctors and stuff, they have to be uptrained, retrained, updated as things change. So it's this idea that if you're like, just because you get a degree don't mean shit. Because if you're actually making money in these fields, you have to constantly update. And yeah, your corporation and stuff may pay for that and stuff like that, but it's not static like that. Especially in today's technology world that's affected all of the professions. But you got motherfuckers really out here thinking, talking like none of these degrees. So it's perceived that women are in school more because that's the only thing that counts. If you're a soldier, that doesn't count unless you actually go to school. No matter how much things you're getting education, What the men do don't count. So the women get this, like, those things should be like an associate's plus. Like, if you have a CDL license, if you've been trained and went to a CDL school, that should be like an associate's plus. If you went to barbershop school, that should be an associate's plus. HVAC, associate's plus. That should be seen, that should be on the books. But see, if you put all that stuff into like an associate's plus, I'm not saying it, and I say an associate's plus because that doesn't necessarily mean into the associates in the sense of you can do 2 more years to get a bachelor's. But what it does, it needs to be categorized differently. Because these are not things that are like trendy money making things. These are things that solidly make money. And that way you can have a better understanding. Okay, these people that have this tend to make more money than people that have bachelors. Why that is? Because these are professional trades. So now it's to the point where we got all these people leaving the professional trades and they're actually scrambling to bring more people in because in their mind they just thought they was going to bring in foreign labor. See, what they keep trying to do is bring in foreign labor in order to undermine the workers rather than investing in the people here, and they keep on telling that lie. There's not enough people here to do the fucking job, which is bullshit. That may be true in certain technology things, but that is not true in most of this, in like 95% of the stuff that actually needs to be done. And what it is they try to bring people here and train them up because they can train them up and pay them less. Shout out to Inspired Truth again. But for the $1.99, facts, thousands of dollars in CEUs a year. So in the psychologist, Eric Bird, shout out to Inspired Truth and Eric Bird. And I'm not saying just trade school, but what I'm saying is, because that's still within a job. But what I'm saying is, like, when you hear this stuff, it's almost like they don't talk about it. And some of that stuff, I was convinced that they did to try to keep them jobs white. And I think that's part of it. But even these white kids now, they don't know. We're not even going to get started. Shout out to Charles Faulkner. We're not even going to get started we're not even get started on deckhands, certain work when it comes to working these ships, deckhands, shit in the oil rigs. We ain't talking about that. But like just the infrastructure stuff that you need, laying down these cables and all this stuff, this stuff pays. And the reality is, these women are like, oh, if you ain't got a degree, you ain't got that. Like literally, these women are like, you ain't got a degree, you ain't got shit. Not understanding that if you make like, it's about generating revenue so you can get a house and put that money to build wealth and stuff. A degree is not the only path. This is why me and Art, and shout out to Art, but this is why me and Art used to go at it with that talented Tim, that we need more degree shit. We got enough people, and no, we don't. No, the fuck we don't. You got motherfuckers going into debt, chasing it. I don't give a fuck. Here's the thing. If it doesn't, if they just do better in school, fuck that. They can go to school later. It is not going to kill these kids to put them in HVAC and shit and tell them they can go to school later. Hell, if they go to school later, they might be able to pay for that shit when on their way out. Telling these kids to go military for 4 years, or go into school, which the military might help them pay for their school, or go into CDL school, HVAC school, so they got a skill that can make them money. That's job one. The degree shit and other shit is job two. And so what happens is people, I'm just going to keep it all the way so fucking for real. A lot of black people have aided and abetted and basically giving people the only real option to go to college. People made it so where your only viable option was to go to school. And you got to understand how predatory that shit is, knowing how much they made school as expensive school is. Knowing how, I want you to really think about it. Look at how much a house costs now and how much school costs. And then with AI, see, ain't nobody really talking about, people pushed all these people into these schools, and now AI came out, fucked shit up. And now these people are just out here. Y'all not about to do shit. Y'all gonna be like, oh, damn. There's no accountability there. It's just like what I said with the Pan-Africanists. And I'm not like BDS is Pan-African. I don't have that issue, but BDS is practical about it. The problem is you got people that they believe in pushing that shit absent and like for instance, gas is high as a motherfucker right now. The Democrats are like, we need to make gas so high that people can't afford to do nothing. People can't afford to drive no more. Those people should have the shit slapped out of them. When you start getting to the point where it's like, I'm gonna cause pain in order to affect my outcome, you've lost the ability to argue it. You don't know how, you can't argue it anymore. That's how you know you've lost the argument. Just like how people say, well, we're just going to remove your ability to abort a child. That's not going to change nothing. Because it doesn't address the culture. It's a lazy way of doing it. And the same thing with education. Oh, we just give every black person a degree. These white people will be forced to hire you. That's bullshit. Because at the time, see, this is what was funny. At the time, these motherfuckers never anticipated that these people would just go and get foreign labor. They never thought that they would fuck their own white people up. If these motherfuckers never thought that these people would say, you don't need a degree. The technology companies, you don't need a degree, you just need cert. They never anticipated that. You can't always anticipate shit. So what's essentially happened is all these people got these fucking ideas that combined with emotionality, they think is so right. So they start lying to motherfuckers. And I'm not saying Art did that, but I personally had a you know those the counselors? I had a counselor that did that shit. They try to push you, they try to lie because they think that's justified. I had a counselor that told my mom I was failing, which I wasn't because I ain't never failed a class because I didn't want to fucking take trigonometry or calculus because I already completed the math. So I'm like, fuck it. I was already working. I was like, I can leave 2 hours early, make my money, and because I didn't know what I wanted to do. She talked about, well, you can get these classes here and blah, blah, blah. She literally sent a letter panicking my mom. This is a white woman that did this, talking about I'm about to fail because she basically forced me into algebra 2, and that would have been like a prerequisite to like take the trig and calculus. No, not algebra 2. It was like algebra 3. No, I'd already completed algebra 2. It was algebra 3. And I was like, fuck that. I was like, fuck it. I'll just not go and leave. That's the type of shit they be doing. And so at the end of the day, at scale, black people on some, we need to get all these people in these professional degrees, and then the women, because they signing up to go, because let's keep it real, the bitches really go to school because them bitches don't want to work. They want to, like, these hoes will be in school forever if you let them. If school was free, they would stay in school forever because they don't want to work. These women ain't really working in school. They fucking around, having sexual experience and escapades. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, these degrees don't really matter if you're not gonna force people to hire people. It's not creating real value. So you got all the dudes, the shit the dudes do to make money don't even count. And so you got these women thinking these women don't even know where the money is. They sitting there chasing the same bullshit. For example, if you go through construction and you learn how to do those equipment, you work your way up, being a contractor, you can get into the real estate game. But see, people don't. And now you got skills in the real estate game. You got inside information on real estate. But they don't think about that. That's where the Latins have an advantage. And they have a network of skills. Anyway. Man, Court Chronicles, shut your whole ass up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Nigga, I'm not a... What the fuck did anything... Okay, I don't know if this bitch ass motherfucker is still in here. Because I wasn't even paying attention to your stupid ass. But this video is titled, Black Women Are Not the Most Educated. And I'm going into explaining the difference between actual making money and actual education. Because wealth-wise, black women are at the bottom. That's a fact. That's a fact. So where is the difference? So you coming in here, don't know what the fuck is being talked about. And you talking about being a professional victim. Man, shut your stupid ass up. You just coming in here babbling. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Having a fucking emotional reaction. No, don't block that hoe. Let that hoe speak. No, fuck that. No, let that hoe speak. No, bitch, I'm gonna make you a moderator temporarily. I'm gonna make you a temporary moderator so your hoe ass can speak. Because I want to see what your bitch ass got to say. No, let that hoe speak. That hoe wants to speak. Let that, we let hoes speak over here. I'm gonna go through the past shit. Fuck, motherfucker don't even know what the fuck he talking about. See what this bitch ass motherfucker's saying. Well, let's scroll up. Court Chronicles. Y'all so salty. 3 degrees on my home. Higher. Yeah, it sound like you trolling. 3 degrees. Okay, you got 3 degrees. What is your degrees in? What are y'all 3 degrees in? I got a friend that she had 3 degrees. She had a degree in English, international business, Spanish and French. I used to always joke that she cheated because French is her natural language, being she's from Quebec. Spanish, okay, and international business. So she got that she got all that in 4 years actually, and then she did a summer. Court Chronicles. Boys, shut up. Y'all are professional victims. You talking about 3 degrees and being a business owner that hires is normal adult activity, but you're not making any moves. First of all, majority of people are not business owners. So being a business owner is not normal adult activity. Hence the phrase, being a business owner is not for everyone. And then you talk about I'm out. Yeah, it sounds like you're trolling. I'm out. Yuck, this yeah, this person. Yeah, let me remove as a standard monitor because you're not saying nothing. All you doing is saying some random stupid ass shit. Nothing you're saying actually. Don't block this whole ass person. Yeah, anybody that comes in here with stupid shit, yeah, this is Jesus Christ channel. No, and we're gonna save you and send you back to Christ. Y'all come in here. I mean, what are we talking about? Like I said, man, you notice how these motherfuckers can't never say anything intelligible. Notice how they never can actually engage in a way that actually makes sense. They basically just come in here and digitally shit everywhere. Yeah, you ain't saying nothing. Yeah, y'all was right. Y'all was right to remove this hoe ass nigga. I mean, if you wanna disagree. But it's ultimate cowardly when you just come in here and be like, I'm gonna pull my pants down and shit everywhere digitally because I don't like what's being said. Y'all so salty. Yuck to this oppression Olympics. Y'all sound so goofy. And what I've learned is that there's a section of black men and the black men who do not want black men to change, but they want the black community to change, which is an impossible thing. Yeah, absolutely. And those dudes need to be identified. Those dudes need to be identified and basically categorized as properly. They don't need to be able to hide amongst us because number one, that's some COINTELPRO shit. That's some that's some COINTELPRO shit. They need to be identified. I'm gonna call that the S virus, the simp virus. They need to be identified and called out. I call them the plantation boys. They do not. Yeah, it's and my thing is, rather than them just shutting the fuck up, what they want to do is they get in here and they do this thing where they try to guide the conversation. Some of them more heavy handed, but some are like light handed, where they try to guide the conversation by asking questions. They try to position themselves as being the devil's advocate, folks. Like they want to be a perpetual devil's advocate, and it's like, and basically what they're really doing is just wasting time. Some people truly have a different ideology, but for the most part, a lot of them, they're just time wasters. They're just in here trying to get us arguing with them and conversating with them, and I'm like, and really, and just keeping it into an infinite loop of just talking, but nothing's really being done. And people like that need to be identified and removed. Because if you're not really saying that, like if you don't ever want to get into the heart of where the disagreement is, and you just want to ask questions, and you just want to constantly like say, well, what about this? Have you considered this? We've considered everything. Fuck what we've considered. You need to fucking just be honest about what you on. And that's some cowardly shit. They try to do this subtle movement shit. And this is why I like to ask direct, open-ended questions. Because I like to ask them, is the black community a patriarchy, matriarchy, gynocracy, something I didn't say? Because there's certain questions that I can quickly identify who I'm dealing with. Fuck that, and I'm answering questions. I want to know questions on this, and this. Where you stand. Because these people don't like to be really communicate what they really on because they know they won't be taken seriously. That's how you deal with that. I'd be like, nah, before you start asking me all these questions, where do you stand on these three things? And then I'll answer. And sometimes people will lie. And then I'll answer. But I usually like to ask it that way because it makes it harder for them to lie. Especially if they haven't heard that question before. I'm not playing. I'm not here to just have this perpetual argument, like infinite loop conversation. I'm not doing that. If you really on that, then you need to be on that over there. We're here to aggregate who are on the same page and create a better thing. We're not here for I don't need to be heard. So I don't need to be heard. I don't need my points validated. I already know where what I'm on and where I am. And dudes get frustrated when you do that, and then they'll start gaslighting. They'll start saying, "Oh, you don't get no bitches." Like, yeah, I know I say on Roger's panel, Zulu says, I say on Roger's panel, black men should have more than what option. The panel attacked me because they said the U.S. is the only option. Plantation boys. Well, I mean, when people say should have more than one option, I don't know what that means. But even to the extent, let's say, you know, like the U.S. He said the U.S. is the only option. Well, that's not really true. Liberia was an option at one point. Number one. Number two, most African Americans outside the United States are in Ghana, and even then, you should still deal with the world in order to bring resources back into the United States, particularly the black part of the United States. I mean, for instance, we have black farmers. Black farmers can sell to China. They chose not to sell to China because they didn't want to piss the United States off, even though you got all these white corporations making money with China. because they didn't want to piss white daddy off, even though white daddy had fucked them over for years and didn't give them their fair share. So you didn't use that as leverage. You basically used that as a way. And I hate, I respect that dude because he held it down. But like real talk, shout out to black farmers. But real talk, that was some whole shit. You could have always stopped selling beef to China. These white people are not selling shit to China out of loyalty to America. What are we talking about? That's crazy. But see, that's how motherfuckers think. So yeah, it's like, what are we talking about? Like what? We expect if white people don't give it to us, it don't count. But yeah, you have that mentality. It's a dumb fucking mentality. When you drag that shit out and you really have the actual question, it sounds stupid. So a lot of these people hide. Shout out to Vince Demon's game with the $50 off the strength. Keep it up, man. I absolutely appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Email me at edwardanderson300k@gmail.com if you got a video topic you want me to cover. Absolutely. 3 degrees in escorting because of that. Hell yeah. All these bitches selling pussy. I mean, for real, man. Like, motherfuckers can't count. Talk, Young Miami talk about I need a nigga with 100 million. Because supposedly Diddy gave her 250,000. I'm like, bitch, if Diddy gave you all that money, where is it? Like, how come y'all not flipping all this money these niggas are giving you? Fuck out of here, bitch. Talking about, I Airbnb homes. I got homes. I Airbnb. It is digital diarrhea. They just come here and just shit everywhere. Just saying some nonsensical babble shit that don't mean anything, nothing that nobody can respond to. They're not actually disagreeing. They're just saying stuff that is unintelligible. I'm actually thinking you actually giving a real disagreement. No, y'all just, oh man, I got 3 degrees doing normal adult stuff. Fuck you talking about? These bitches talking about they pay their own bills, they got their own car, they think that shit's special. What are you talking about? But the reason I did this video is because a dude just casually said, black women are most educated, and he did this under like a video talking about matriarchy and basically getting into that video, for example, dude, like this is crazy. Like I'm gonna do a play-by-play on this, but this is crazy. Dude sitting here talking about how basically the premise is the black community is a patriarchy and we just make women do patriarchy shit. Anything like that doesn't even make sense. But when he broke it down, and I listened to the whole video, it was like 8 minutes. I listened to the whole video. Dude sitting here, he starts talking about the Caribbean and the original term for Carib, original term for Caribbean, which is Carib, and so European, Caribbean, Carib, and how these people are known for being like, I guess, cannibals. And basically what he said was what they would do is kill all the men of an island and they would go to another island and then leave the women there and the women and impregnate the women and leave the women, the young boys, children, and they would kill the men of the other island, right? And they go to another island at the island, and when Europeans came in, I mean, they just started that practice because they were bigger fish, right? And so, these were matriarchies that men made them be a matriarchy, right? First of all, that's the Caribbeans. They ain't got nothing to do with the United States dynamic. That's nothing to do because we don't have an island dynamic. So that has nothing to do with the United States dynamic. So you're saying the black community as if the Caribbean and the black people in the United States are the same community. We're not the same community. We're not. And that's not even no SBA shit. Nobody's ever said, where even diaspora people know Africa, Caribbean, and the Americans, Afro-Latinos, these are different things. Yeah, there's similarities in certain places, but these are different things. Very different things. And so he don't say nothing about like the United States or America, the mainland America. He just talks the whole entire Caribbean, but meanwhile he's putting the Emmett Till photo and stuff like that as if all these people in the Caribbean immigrated to America and like influenced American culture. That's not true. So nothing what you're saying, like what he was saying is like, okay, if you're talking about the Caribbean is this. In the Caribbean community, I don't know if I agree with that, but okay, I'm not going to jump as hard against that because I do know the Caribbeans are on some a slightly different shit than what we're on when it comes to matriarchy, patriarchy. So it would be some stuff that I'm more open, like unwound that yarn before I make a decision. But to sit here and try to say the black community here, right? And this thing about in the midst of that, he talked about casually like black women are most educated. And then I answered that amongst the other things that I talked about because I really care about more this patriarchy thing. Talk about white people the only matriarchy, blah, blah, blah. It's retarded. He also said something that was wrong, talking about when white people would, when they went from town to town to like conscript people, that they let the men choose. Like generally, that's not how white people did it. If you were age, you went. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, and again, this is when these people getting these like academics and they just get like, they need to fucking touch grass, man. Like, for real. But anyway, that was what originally did the video. So I'm like, you're talking, like, it's very simple. The black community, and then he also talked about the difference. See, this is what people try to do. This is where you start telling lies in the truth, or telling, like giving grains of truth and interweaving it in the lies. He was talking about how, well, the real thing about a matriarchy is a matriarchy. People think a matriarchy is the inverse of a patriarchy, which is not true. That is correct. It is not the inverse of a patriarchy. That's really a gynocracy. However, the fucking point is that that we are in a situation where in the United States of America where the women are the buffer class. Now, how that expresses itself is different because it has to express itself differently with white boys. It's more subtle, but with us, it's very direct. The women are a buffer class. The women and the immigrants are a buffer class. The immigrants serve as a shadow population, where a lot of those immigrants are cheap labor. The women are serving as a population, as an indoctrination population to indoctrinate these males and get these males kind of fucked up. That's really what it is. And the women are complicit. The women have weakened, they have been complicit in weakening these boys for the state, as well as what I call the college of corporations. They have done this. There's nothing to speak on with Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett was never going to really win. She was never going to be a senator. Like, understand something. A vote for Jasmine Crockett would have been a vote to self-promote herself. At least with this dude that they voted in there, they got a better chance of somebody actually running a campaign. Jasmine Crockett was never going to win. She was never going to win the whole Senate seat. I'm kind of flipping a coin whether Cornyn is going to win. I personally think it's between Cornyn and that other Republican that's the Attorney General, because I think they want to do something different. Cornyn has been there since 2002. He's had a great run. So that means he's had like 2, 8, 14, 20, 2, 8, 8, 14, 20. This will be his third one. He's had 3 terms as senator. This will be his 4th. He's running for his 4th term. Yeah. 8, 14, 20. No, he's running for his 5th term. He's been in there a minute. And Cornyn is really not the most charismatic guy. So eventually, new people are going to want something different. And with Trump, it's kind of like, even though he votes pretty much all the time with Trump, but he's just not like, he's not like a fire breather, but he definitely votes with the fire breathers. There are degrees worth as much as exactly, knockout. And absolutely, man, make sure y'all like that. Much appreciated. So there's nothing to speak on. Jasmine Crockett, she's only been in Congress 1 year. I think this is her 2nd term. She only had 1 term before this. This is her 2nd term. So at the end of the day, Jasmine Crockett ain't really done nothing. Jasmine Crockett hasn't done anything. Jasmine Crockett is a media personality. Or a politician. She's a personality. She hasn't really done anything. Even before we get into, in her mind, and all these women online crying, shouting people, unless she did a video on it, all these women crying, about Jasmine Crockett, these bitches just want to be seen and validated. They're not really thinking about policy. They're not really, they're crying. Think about it. They're not crying because the Democrat lost. They're crying because the black woman doesn't want to represent the Democrat, isn't able to represent the Democratic Party on the ticket in order to run. Truth is, if Jasmine Crockett was really hitting on shit like that, then she would have been able to create her own campaign within Texas if she really that bitch like that. If she really that bitch like that, you know, if you really that mad, as black women, let the Democratic Party know if she ain't gonna get there, ain't yo motherfucker ain't gonna win either by running her as a third party candidate. But see, they not thinking about that. They sitting there whining to white mommy, white daddy. You know, it's niggas' fault as per usual. Everything is black men's fault. But that was never a serious race. Like, for instance, in North Carolina, you know, the former governor, Roy Cooper, is running. He's probably going to win, but it's not going to guarantee because it's still kind of a red state. But he don't really got no ill will. But he'll probably win. I mean, Texas is red. You know, Jasmine Crockett is, look, you'll probably see Jasmine Crockett on television. I could definitely see her being on TV, getting a job. She'll probably make some good money because she was a lawyer. She was a congresswoman. She may even get a show. But she was never a serious person. She was always running for herself. She was never serious. She basically had that job to do something better. That was a stepping stone. And truth is, I could understand that if she actually did. And when I say did something, I don't mean get laws passed because obviously it's one congressperson. But I'm talking about like putting things on the floor. She didn't talk about reparations. She basically did the standard Democratic bullshit. And quite frankly, if you're black, if we're gonna have a standard Democratic talking point, then you don't need to be in there if you're black. I'd rather white people be in there talking the standard Democratic shit. We don't need a black person in there for that. If you're black, it's time for, if you're black doing that, playing a game shit is over. I don't want to hear that playing a game shit. Fuck you and fuck the game. You don't need to be there. You're not about to play the game on my vote. I don't give a fuck about what anybody says. As soon as I hear that playing the game bullshit, I'm gonna be like, kiss my ass. Go to hell. Fuck you in the game. Next. Well, I like the stream too, but you know. Nobody talked about Jasmine outside of Dallas. I'm in FW 45 miles away, and ninjas here seeing she was garbage. Yeah. And truth is, Jasmine Crockett, apparently her family's out of like Missouri. Which, by the way, that's where like my grandparents come from and stuff like that. Like, real talk, Jasmine Crockett wasn't about nothing. That's why when you ask the Jasmine Crockett supporters what Jasmine Crockett stood for, and they can't tell you. They can't tell you shit. They don't know. They don't really know. They have no idea. They as much as they like her, they don't know. They like her because they identify with the goofy, ratchet ass cosplay she did. The performance. That is not, Jasmine Crockett did not grow up the way she acts. That is a role. That is a performance. That is a performance. She is acting like a hood chick. She is not a hood chick. She went to a private school. And that Haitian stuff, I'm not 100% sure on, but I wouldn't be surprised. And this is what I'm talking about. What I'm noticing is the average black American does not understand the game has changed. You can't run the old night. Yeah, that shit doesn't work. Appreciate JD Aesthetic with the $5. Much appreciated. All right, I'm back, y'all. Oh, shit. Press 1 if y'all can hear me. Press 1 if y'all can hear me. All right. All right, y'all. Y'all should be able to hear me still. Yeah, man. Yeah, but people playing, man. Motherfuckers are out here playing. Boy, it's hot as hell out here. It's 80. It was 80 degrees where I'm at. What's the weather where y'all at? 'Cause it's hot as fuck. I am, as the black females say, here for it. Yeah, yet, man. Yeah, people come in here thinking they gonna get you told like they doing something. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it might cut off for a second. But just bear with me. Bear with me. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, man. So yeah, that's what the main thing was. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, for real. Like, you really, but yeah, that's what it is, yo. So, but these false premises that people be having where they just, it's crazy. You know, motherfuckers just casually say black women are most educated. But going back, like I said, with Jasmine Crockett, it's like the idea is, well, she educated, black women can't never, because in their mind, black women are the most qualified. See, in their mind, black women were more qualified than the other dude, that Torello dude, whatever his name is. He was in the Senate. He was in the state Senate for 4 terms. And Texas is not a weak state Senate. He was in the state Senate for 4 terms, so 2 years a term. That's where see, the funny thing is, that's where Jasmine Crockett came out of. People forget that. That's where Jasmine Crockett came out of, was the state Senate. Jasmine Crockett only has done 1 term. What makes her so much more qualified to be a U.S. senator than that other dude? The second thing, too, is really like, the truth is, the Democrats, they blaming the Republicans. The Democrats didn't want her to be in there. That's what they don't want to be honest about. She didn't really have backing of the party. Otherwise, this dude wouldn't. She had to run the fade. And when she had to run the fade to test her support, I mean, the Democrats probably would have got behind her if she would have been the only candidate. If for nothing else, her stuff brings headlines. But the reality is, they're talking about they got to pick somebody to win. The truth is, Jasmine Crockett is not a serious person. She is a sideshow. Jasmine Crockett is not that much different than Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here's the part that, well, it doesn't really hurt, but it's just the truth. Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to be more savvy than Jasmine Crockett. Marjorie Taylor Greene got put out of the house, but she stood on the right side of that Epstein shit. So trust me, people, because MAGA is starting to really get away from Trump a little. Well, not all of them, obviously, but with the war shit. So it's like she's going to be seen as holding, Trump accountable on all the right things. Because we know where Jasmine Crockett is going to try to go to. She's going to try to go to TV. She's going to try to get a check. And the truth is, I could definitely see them giving her some money because she's got a name. Now, whether she has the discipline to actually be on TV, I can see Jasmine Crockett getting her own show. All these females watch that shit. See, this is where if Jasmine Crockett was... See, I'm going to tell you something. If Jasmine Crockett was smart, Jasmine Crockett would have had a podcast or something. Jasmine Crockett would have already had that shit set up. And then black women could see that. She could, get Michelle Obama or some people up there. And then that'd keep her name in there and give people ways of actually... I'm talking black women and these goofy-ass black men that want to be involved with her. And she would have had some money. How much a U.S. congressman purchase? Yeah, U.S. Congress people make $174,000 a year. That's how much they make. But the thing is, if you can stay in the House what happens is you can get favors, and you can get access to the big money, which is that insider trading pool that they be doing. You might as well call that a revenue sharing program. That's the problem. But see, the problem is you usually got to be in Congress for like 3 terms to get access to that. They don't give that access to like one-time winners because those people are not really in the game like that yet. So she would have owned, this was her 2nd term, so she wouldn't have been up yet to get that. So Jasmine Crockett, let me see what her net worth is. Yeah, there's no public information on Jasmine Crockett's net worth, meaning she ain't worth shit. That's what that means. That means she ain't really worth shit. So like I said before, if Jasmine Crockett would have been smart, Jasmine Crockett would have had like maybe some kind of, I mean, she got all this other social media bullshit out here. I don't understand why you wouldn't have a podcast. You know what you can talk about and cannot talk about. Do it like a public town hall or some shit like that. And she probably would have had some money. 700, I mean, that's what, 15, like she'll beat that with 15,000 a month. And trust me, with politics and how strong the politics niche is, oh hell yeah. She could have leveraged all them TV audiences and stuff like that, where she just gives her like what's going on, why it's important, blah blah blah. And I'm talking about with black women, she would have been able to do that. She legit would have been talking like doing it like once a week, not even like once a week for like 2 hours or something. That's it. And she would have been in Congress. She did that like 75% of the time. She would have had X amount of episodes by now. 52 weeks of the year, 75% of the time, she would have had probably like 80 episodes. Like probably like 100 by now. Since they so smart, they so educated, she could have got interviews with different people. Black women now, for real, set herself up to basically do speakerships and get paid off of advocacy. She could have legit did that. Yeah, Jasmine Crockett is 44 years old. It's almost as if she never thought she was not going to be in Congress. Like, she never thought she would get iced out this quick. If you're going to be loud like that, then, you know, she can use the credibility of when she was in Congress and recreate that check. And quite frankly, transition that into some other shit. Because truth be told, if she built an audience, then she'd be able to transition that shit to television. Or like a radio show like this is what the fucking white people were doing with the AM shows and shit. But you don't even, and we'll see, but you don't even see that shit. Because they want to be up under white zaddy. Because it's rare that they redistrict shit like that. But see, that's what happens when they got the voting rights stuff messed up. It gives them the Supreme Court. This is also the issue with them losing the Supreme Court. Because see, had they had more Democrats in there, it'd be 50-50. They wouldn't be able to get away with that. The Supreme Court would probably block it. This is what happened. This is white women did this by letting Hillary Clinton lose. This is white women's fault. See, a lot of people, white women are the biggest reason why Trump got elected, and that's the one group ain't nobody talking about. The one group ain't nobody talking about is white tea women. I ain't gonna believe all that later. The one group ain't nobody talking about is white tea women. It's their fault they Trump and nobody's saying nothing. That's how I told you. It's about power. He said, "What's saying on his shirt?" Shit. Yeah. Cause you gotta think, man, what is she gonna do in Texas? She gonna run for mayor? Mayor of what? She could maybe run for mayor of Dallas. But honestly, a lot of black female mayors just kind of fucked that up for black women. She ain't running for governor. Like, a lot of these black female mayors have fucked it up for black women, if we're going to be all the way honest. If we're going to be all the way honest. When playing a game gets you played. White women have followed their husbands, because truth be told, I mean, white men are not living like their women are following them, though. That's really what that is. So at the end of the day, you know, but then again, you know, so, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, man, you know, this idea, you know, black people just naturally say, because if you can't deal with objective reality, you're never going to change anything. What you're really doing is you're looking for somebody else to change it for you, and that's not going to happen, because it doesn't benefit people. Black people are where it benefits people for black people to be. And so you're either going to compete and fight your way out of that position, or you're not. Or you're not. And if you're comfortable with that, that's okay. Just don't be mad when everybody starts going every man for themselves, and that makes you uncomfortable because people doing what they need to do for themselves because you want to be comfortable in mediocrity. So anyway, y'all, it's been great. I don't need to keep this on any, you know, too long. I just want to put that out there. Be looking out for some videos that are going to be coming in the very near future. And appreciate all of the super chats. Appreciate the Cash App as well from JD Aesthetic, Eric Bird, and Inspired Truth, as well as what's called with the $50 super chat. As always, Last Deviants Gaming. And with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.